Today we continue Ariyavasa Sutta. First we have to recite Ariyavasa Sutta Pali. Can you follow me? Dasa ime bhikkhave Ariyavasa. Yeriya Awasai Suwa Awasandiwa Awasai Sandiwa Kadame Dasa Ida Bhikkhave Bhikkhu Pinjinga Vipina Hoti Chalinga Samanagata Ekareko Chatura Pasina Panona Vijayga Sijam Samawaya Satisana Anawila Singapore Pasada Gaya Singaro Sui Moda Jada Sui Moda Binya. We recite together. Dasa ime bhikkhave Ariyavasa Yeriya Awasai Suwa Awasandiwa Awasai Sandiwa Kadame Dasa Ida Bhikkhave Bhikkhu Pinjinga Vipina Hoti Chalinga Samanagata Ekareko Chatura Pasina Panona Vijayga Sijam Samawaya Satisana Anawila Singapore Pasada Gaya Singara Sui Moda Jada Sui Moda Binya. Sincere aphorism, can you follow me? To abandon the 5 factors, to be fulfilled with the 6 factors, and 1 protection, to depend on the 4 supports, and to dispel personal truths, to be free from searching, to have pure thoughts, to calm the in and out breath, to have a well-liberated mind, a well-liberated wisdom. The fully enlightened Buddha expounded the 10 features of Ariyavasa. So 10 Ariyavasa, the Chatura Pasina, to depend on the 4 supports. 4 supports are to use 1 thing, to endure 1 thing, to avoid 1 thing, and to dispel 1 thing. So after depending on 4 supports, what you have to do? You have to practice. Yogi have to practice. The practice is very simple. Ekareko, 1 protection we need all the time. So try to be mindful by observing every phenomena manifested at the 6 senses. You try to be aware of every phenomena manifested at the six senses, what you encounter. The first thing you would encounter is nivarana, mental hindrances. Yes, yogi have not yet developed continuous mindfulness and strong concentration. Then you cannot gain control over your mind. So the mind would wander as freely as always to every sense object it loves. You keep your mind on the abdomen, you keep your mind on the breathing in and out, you keep your mind on the walking steps. But the mind don't like. The mind like essential object. So the mind go to every sense object it loves. So such an unruly mental state are of five kinds, known as nivarana. They are so called because they block Ariyavasa, they block the noble path to Nirvana. So five hindrances, Buddha mentioned. A bhikkhu practitioner has abandoned sensual desire, ill will, sloth and torpor, restlessness and remorse, and skeptical doubt. It is in this way that a practitioner has abandoned five factors. The first hindrance is kamacchana, sensual desire. Sensual desire and sensual pleasures. We need to understand the defects of the sensual desire, essential object. They are similar to bone, meat, a bit of live coal, grass torch, and they can be enjoyed only a momentary period, so they are like the borrowed things. And the more example Buddha gave, Rokha Plupama Kama, sensual pleasures are likened to, compared to fruits. A man wants to eat fruits, so seeing the fruits on the tree, that man climbs up and eats the fruits on the tree. And another man cuts down the tree. That man cut down the bottom of the tree in order to get the fruits. Not taking heed because of his desire. If the man on the tree does not come down in a hurry, he will surely fall to the ground because another man is cutting the tree. So he will fall down, he would fall to the ground, and his arms and legs may be broken or he may die. So in this way, sensual pleasures are likened to fruits that could break arms and legs, even end your life. So these sensual pleasures can make the person to suffer various kinds of mental and physical unhappiness if he continue to cling on to these objects instead of abandoning them. There are many occasions where robbers not only take the properties but also the life of the owner. And there are also instances in history whereby the assassinating the king in order to get the throne. The Sun King, Prince Ajatasattu, assassinated his father, Bimbisara, who was a Sotabana. Because sensual object, he wanted to get the throne. And battles are waged and won because a more powerful king got the better of a weak king. In the present days, there are instances of murdering the husband in order to get his wife. Furthermore, there are distinct cases about people reborn in the realms of hare realms, animal realms, and hungry ghost realms, and they suffer unhappiness and difficulties in their subsequent existences. So these people suffer repeatedly in the rounds of rebirths, experiencing aging, sickness, death, endless worries, anxieties, and lamentation due to their attachment and not being able to abandon their sensual pleasures. So Buddha mentioned that sensual pleasures are likened to fruits, and also admonish them to discard them by reflecting on their defects. Another example, Asisunupama. Buddha said sensual pleasures are likened to a chopping board. Long knife and chopping board. The cattle which are to be killed will be very much frightened on seeing the long knife and the chopping board. In ancient days, the criminals were executed by placing their necks on the board and their heads were chopped with the long knife. In the present days, criminals are sentenced to death by hanging. In some country, they must be very frightened when they see the place where they are to be hanged. So this evidence is illustrative enough to understand. The sensual pleasures are just as frightening as the long knife and chopping board. The original cause for the criminals to be sentenced to death by their necks being chopped off are the sensual pleasures. Due to their unwholesome deeds they have done because attachment to their sensual pleasures, these people die in the four woeful states with their throats being cut off. So as a result of their attachment to the sensual pleasures, they repeatedly die, undergoing the rounds of rebirths. The sensual pleasures are the real reason for all such deaths. So it can be said that the sensual pleasures can kill beings whose heads are just like being chopped off by the knife on the chopping board. Another comparison with the spear and stake. And Buddha said, Sati sulupama kama buddhokha bupayasa adinava itabinyo. Sensual pleasures are like a spear and a stake. A man who is to be stabbed with a spear would be very frightened when he sees a spear. In the same way, the person who is to be impaled by a stake would be in great fear on seeing a stake. In the olden days, the king used to torture and kill some criminals by impaling them with stakes. As the spear and stake are frightful to those who are to be speared or impaled, so also are the sensual pleasures. If the person developed fondness for sensual pleasures and accepted them, his mind would be so stricken with them, and that he is unable to discard them. So these cases illustrate how the sensual pleasures like spear and stake strongly and deeply pierce the person, causing dissatisfaction and suffering. Moreover, there are many instances of being impaled by stake, suffering in the four woeful states, being reborn repeatedly, and dying again and again as a result of their unwholesome deeds done because of the attachment to sensual pleasures. In other words, he is pierced with and impelled by the sensual pleasures, spear and stick. So Buddha and Arahants view sensual pleasures in this way. They are likened to spear and stick. But ordinary people, these sensual pleasures are seemingly to be very pleasurable. They don't see their defects, and they don't see the suffering in these sensual pleasures. But the Buddha gave many comparisons of these sensual pleasures to reflect and to discard these sensual pleasures. Another comparison is snake heads. Buddha also pointed out that essential pleasures are likened to a snake's head. Buddha explained these sensual pleasures should be avoided, just like avoiding stepping on the snake head. So Buddha exalted his disciple, if the person delights in and becomes attached to the sensual pleasures, the sufferings are bound to follow closely to torment him. For this reason, those people wishing to be liberated from such suffering and gain a life of bliss should be mindful and practice Satipatthana meditation such as Kaya Nupassana, Satipatthana, contemplation of the body, Vena Nupassana, Satipatthana, contemplation of the feeling, Chaita Nupassana, Satipatthana, contemplations of consciousness, and Dhamma Nupassana, Satipatthana, contemplation of the Dhamma, day and night. In this way, practitioner can avoid the sensual object and these object should can be rejected. So there is a way to avoid and reject the sensual object. Another example is sensual desire as a debt. Buddha compared the sensual desire and its human victim to the debt and the debtor, respectively. So he instructed his practitioner to get rid of the sensual desire quickly, just like the debtor who has to work hard to repay his debt in time. So in the olden days, the debtor had to be very respectful to his creditor. If the debtor failed to settle the debt in time, he had to apologize his creditor in a very humble manner. Even the creditor scolded him, the debtor never dared to say any words or do anything disagreeable to his creditor. So this is what happened in the olden days as well as during the time of the Buddha. So a debtor always has to respect his creditor. Even though he repays his debt in time, because he may need to get some more loans later. Only when a man repays all his debts and needs no more loans can he be no longer required to respect his creditor. So in this sense, desire for an object is compared to the debt, because he has to respect the desirable object and take care of it. The more desirous the person is of an object, the more respect he must pay to it, and the greater care he has to take of it. For example, you cherish a beautiful cup, and you have to use it very carefully so that you won't break it. Even greater care needs to be taken of it. If it is a precious thing like gold, silver, jewelry, and other ornaments that you really cherish, you have to keep them in a safe and boxes under lock and key. When you wear ornaments on ceremonial occasion, for example, you are likely to have trouble looking for a secure place. In this way, the more desirous the person is of an object, the more respectful he must be to it, and the greater care he has to take of it. It is a problem related to desire of inanimate things. Such problem can be even worse when it becomes to a living being, such as a spouse, children, and so on. For example, wife and husband have to speak or behave very carefully and respectfully so that one would not hurt to others' feeling. The more the person loves his or his spouse, the more respectfully he have to treat her, not to get her feeling. So the person have to respect any object he loves, animate or inanimate. In the same way, a debtor does his creditor. When he is not desirous of anything, or when he is not desirous of any individual, he will become fully carefree, exactly like the person who is free from debt. That is why during the retreat, during the intensive retreat, if sensual desire arises in practitioner, you have to notice desire, simply note desire. Very fortunate, the instruction, don't forget. When desire comes, and note as desire. Don't get involved in the story. Don't make the story longer. Just simply note it. Pay attention to the object as it is. Do not add anything in the story, so that you can capture the desire very clearly. So during the retreat, if desire comes, you have to know desire, and it may not be possible for you to note every desire that occurs in daily life. In daily life at home, it is impossible to note desire. Because in daily life at home, you are very busy with daily chores. So it is not suitable to note desire, etc. But at home, when you take self-retreat, you can note desire. So retreat is very favorable for the practitioner. Environment is very favorable. They are giving you a very good opportunity to note everything, to capture the real phenomena. So during the retreat, all you have to do is to be mindful of every phenomena manifested. So you can be mindful of desire whenever it takes place. Notice desire, lacking, so that you can overcome that hindrances. Before your concentration is strong enough, however, you may not be able to overcome desire, mental hindrances right away, but don't give up easily. You have to keep noting it as often as it occurs. If you cannot stop it by noting one time, note 2 times. Then note it 3 times. Stay calm in desire, note 4 times. If not despair, you note 5 times. If not 10 times, or 20 times, or 30 times. So you have to note it forcefully, diligently, continuously. Notice as often as it repeats until it no longer recurs in the end. So developing mindfulness is like waging a war on mental defilements. So yogis should do not give up easily, but keep fighting until you win. It is not just about the theory, but about the facts. Many yogis overcome the kinds of desire by noting again and again. So the desire abandoned by means of mindfulness may not recur even when you reflect the object that aroused the desire. So developing mindfulness is the best way of overcoming the mental defilements. In this regard, Mazi Sayadaw have this aphorism: sensual desire means death. Take a quick action to remove it. But the problem is, if you think desire is good, so it is problem. It will take long to remove it. So if you cannot remove it, you cannot expect to earn the privilege of dwelling in the abode of noble ones. You cannot live in the Ariyavasa, the abode of noble ones. If you are able to note and remove such mental hindrances, practitioner will be guaranteed blissful rebirth after this life. On the other hand, there is no such guarantee for those who die with mental defilements, still lingering in them, like residents in the tumble down house, exposed to all kinds of dangers, sun, wind, rain, snakes, ants and bad people. An ordinary person is always at the risk of landing in the four woeful states. During the time of the Buddha, there was a monk called Desa. One day, that monk, Bhikkhu Desa, got an expensive robe, and he loved the robe very much. Love for something means sensual desire, kamicchanda. So he have an intention to wear the robe the next day. Intent on wearing the robe the next day, he hung the robe on the clothesline and went to bed. Our life is not sure. On that very night, Bhikkhu Desa suddenly got sick and died. So death can come anytime. Many Marasena, the evil ones, accident, heart attack, many things will come to take the life of the beings. So monk Desa suddenly got sick at that night and died. Given his moral purity, monk Desa should have landed in the celestial realms. However, unfortunately, monk Desa was reborn as a louse on that very robe just because of his attachment to his robe. You may find it hard to believe that a human being was reborn as a louse. It is difficult to believe the monk was reborn as a louse. The late most venerable Mahasi Sayadaw mentioned the one man in his native place. There was a skeptic man. He often tried to confuse people who are less knowledgeable. Regarding to this story of Bhikkhu Desa, die and reborn as a louse, that skeptic man raised a question whether it was possible for an elephant to be reborn as a red ant, whether it was possible for an red ant to be reborn as an elephant. So red ants is a certain kinds of insects very common in our country. It lives in green grass and so small that it is visible only to those with very good eyesight. The ant is likely to hide itself under the skin, causing piercing pain every time the person touches it. So that man question is whether it is sensible for such a big soul as an elephant to be reborn as a small soul as red ants. Because of big difference in size between two souls. Elephant soul, the soul of elephants and the soul of red ants. The soul of elephants is very big and the soul of ants is very small. So that man mentioned that the soul of an elephant would be too big to get into ants' body, whereas the soul of red ants would be too small to infuse the entire body of an elephant. So such question confuse people who are not well informed of the teaching of true teaching of the Buddha. Nowadays there are some people who advocate a view which faking the Buddha's creed reject the idea of a future life. They maintain that even if the future, even if there is a future life, human being may be reborn only as a human beings. Because human beings is the highest status. Because having reached the highest status among living species, a man cannot assume any lower form of life. They said that a tamarind seed can produce only a tamarind tree, and gold cannot revert to its former state of earth. In the same way, human being is the foremost position in the world. Human beings cannot be reborn as a dog, cat, etc. So this kinds of argument is designed to make people interested in materialism and at the same time to ruin the true teaching of the Buddha. The holder of such doctrine should be regarded as the Marabhakika, members of the Mara, members of the evil group, Mahasi Sayadaw mentioned. So according to the true teaching of the Buddha, a being is not a living solid entity, but only a process of Namarupa, process of psychophysical phenomena, which cannot be defined in size or dimension. In such a psychophysical process, Nama and Rupa, the Nama, mind, is the determining factors. So you understand Paticcasamuppada, the doctrine of dependent origination, mentioned that Avijja Picchaya Sankhara, Sankhara Picchaya Vinyanan. Dependent on ignorance, there arises karma formation. Depending on karma formation, depending on Punjabi Sankhara, wholesome karma formation and unwholesome karma formation, there arises relinking consciousness or rebirth consciousness, wholesome or unwholesome. Depending on origination, say. So this life and another life. This life you have done mostly punya Visankhara, wholesome deeds. You perform charity, you observe sila, you practice meditation, or wholesome deeds you are doing. So dependent on Punjabi Sankhara, wholesome karma formation, when you die, there arises linking consciousness in the Sukati good realms. If the person perform apunya, unwholesome deeds, for him, depending on apunya Visankhara, unwholesome karma formation, there arises relinking consciousness in the Dogati bed realms. So this life and next life, this life and the next life are different only by one moment. At the moment of death, we call this life. At the next moment, which comes immediately, we call it the new life or next life. That is because we use the terms conventionally. So actually, the death in one life and rebirth in another are just the same as one moment following another moment during lifetime. When beings are reborn after death in one life, they are just one moment after death. So the arising and disappearing of mind and matter go on and on and on until you become an arahant or you die. Until that moment, the arising and disappearing of mind and matter will go on and on and on continuously. So you can see these process of mind and matter going continuously because you are watching all the time. So the rebirth, the relinking consciousness in the next life is produced by your karma. The rebirth is produced by your karma, good karma or bad karma. The relinking consciousness, Paticca Chaita, in the good realms, you reborn in the human realms and celestial realms. The relinquishing consciousness of the human realms and celestial realms are produced by your Punyavi Singara or good karma or wholesome karma formation. And the relinquishing consciousness or rebirth consciousness in the four woeful states or bad realms are produced by their bad karma or apunya visingara, unwholesome karma formation. So practitioner can do something about good karma in this life. Now what you are doing is good karma, punya visingara, the best punya visingara, practicing meditation. So doing about punya visingara, practicing meditation in this life so that you will be reborn in the very good existence. You will be reborn in the better existence. So now we talk about rebirth. When we talk about rebirth, people want to know what it is that is reborn there. So this we can answer with the teaching, neither he nor another. The person who is said to be reborn in the next life is neither the same person that died in the previous life, nor is he a totally new person, totally independent of the being who died in the previous life. So this we need to understand. We have to use neither he nor another. At the moment of rebirth, what happened is karma produce a state of mind, patisandhicetta, relinquishing consciousness, and some material properties, and that we call rebirth. So mind and matter that are produced or mind and matter that arise at the moment of rebirth are not something that is carried over from the previous life. So deeply need to understand this life and next life. So neither physical phenomena nor physical energy transfer from the past life to the new life. Physical phenomena, physical body, and the physical energy cannot transfer from the past life to the next life. Only the process of mental energy keeps going on from one life to another. That is why there is no difference between a huge elephant, between the soul of huge elephant and a soul of minute red ants in the case of rebirth. Moreover, the consciousness of an ordinary human being does not differ basically from that of a dog or cow, etc. And it is not sensible to consider such ordinary kinds of consciousness to be superior forever. Evidently, there are some people who are born with great personality, but later in life go insane for some reason. In the case of a victim of rabies, we can find the human's consciousness noticeably revert to an inferior state. In short, there is no basis for the view that a human, as an ultimate being, is no longer subject to an inferior rebirth after death. There is no basis for the view that human beings cannot be reborn as an laws or cattle, etc. That kind of view is a conflict with the true teaching of the Buddha. So practitioner can develop their minds by nurturing with faith, energy, vigilance, and so on. You are developing your mind by nurturing these saddha, virya, sati, etc. Your mind is developing by nurturing with these mental faculties. So the mental process nurtured in this way would be reformed by itself into the pure or superior mental process in terms of blissful rebirth as a human or celestial beings after this life. On the other hand, the mind defiled with greed, hatred, ill will, etc. would lead to be reborn in the woeful states. Harems, such as harems, animal kingdom, hungry ghost kingdom, etc. This, of course, raises a question of how consciousness can reach a far distant place like heaven or hell. This fact is that consciousness is of no solid form, and so distance makes no difference to consciousness. So we will continue next day to continue the Kamachanda. We have to stop our discourse for today by practicing Vipassana meditation, by developing and nurturing your mind with faith, energy, vigilance, and all wholesome mental faculties. May you build up the Ariyavasa, the abode of noble ones, by practicing and developing, rising, falling, sitting, touching, seeing, hearing, continuously and meticulously. May all yogis be liberated from all suffering. May all yogis realize the real peace in the very near future. So we have to recite Mahasatipatthana Uddesa Pali. Ekayano ayam bhikkhave mego sadanam Visuddhiya Kapari Devanam Amadegamaya Dukha Domanasanam Atingamaya Yayasa Adigamaya Nivanasa Sajigiriyaya Yadidam Chadaram Sadivadanam Kadame Chadaram Hida Bhikkhave Bhikkhu Kaye Kayanubasi Viharati Atabi Sambhajano Satima Vinayam Loge Avijja Domanasam Vedanasu Vedananubasi Viharati Adabi Sambhajano Satima Vinayam Loge Avijja Domanasam Jade Jaidanubasi Viharati Adabi Sambhajano Satima Vinayam Loge Avijja Domanasam Dhammesu Dhammanubasi Viharati Adabi Sambhajano Satima Vinaya Loge Abhijja Domanasam. English translation. This is the only way, bhikkhus, for the purifications of beings, sorrow and lamentation, for the disappearance of pain and grief, for reaching the noble path, for the realizations of nirvana, namely the four foundations of mindfulness. For here in the teaching bhikkhus, a bhikkhu does contemplating the body in the body, ardent, clearly comprehending and mindful, removing desire and discontent in the world. Thus contemplating the feeling in the feelings, ardent, clearly comprehending and mindful, desire and discontent in the world. Thus contemplating the consciousness in the consciousness, ardent, clearly comprehending and mindful, removing desire and discontent in the world. Thus contemplating the Dhamma in the Dhammas, ardent, clearly comprehending and mindful, desire and discontent in the world. honoring and sharing merits. Imaya Dhammanu Dhammapatipatiya Bodham Bujemi Maya Dhammanu Dhammapatipatiya Dhamma Bujemi Imaya Dhammanu Dhammapatipatiya Sangham Bujemi Imaya Dhammanu Dhammapatipatiya Adabhidara Ujemi Maya Dhammanu Dhammapatipatiya Acariye Bujemi Adaimaya Padivadaya Jaramaranama Parimojayasami Idame Punyam Asawakaya Waham Adu Idame Silam Megabala Nyanasa Vajayadu Imano Punya Bhagam Savasadana Dema Sabe Sada Sukhida Hondu Sadhu Sadhu Sadhu